Thank you. Next bill.
SB 359?
Yes.
Okay. The Fair Mathematics Placement Act of 2015. Let me start by thanking for the committee for working with our office and Assembly Education on amendments to the bill. We've been working closely with CDE as well as the chair and staff on amendments that further strengthen the policy, yet reducing costs to the state. Recent amendments to the bill reduce costs by limiting the number of districts that have to implement a fair math misplacement policy by clarifying that this would only apply to schools that have not yet adopted a fair math misplacement policy. Amendments also simplify online posting requirements for districts as well. Very quickly, the whole concept of math misplacement is when 9th grade students are held back to repeat their 8th grade math course despite having achieved a grade of B or better, or testing at proficient or even advanced on state assessments. It compromises their ability to advance to the A through G pattern and be eligible for UC admissions, and basically it's unfair. They pass the class, they should therefore be allowed to advance on to the next level. It came to our attention based on a report commissioned by the Silicon Valley Community Foundation. Erica Wood is here from the foundation to briefly say why it's an issue. We ask for your aye vote.
This bill is on suspense. One witness, 1 minute. Please proceed.
Good morning. My name is Erica Wood. I'm the Chief Community Impact Officer at Silicon Valley Community Foundation, and we are the proud supporters of SB 359. We firmly believe that this bill will not appreciably increase costs to the state. It's important to say that districts today are already making placement decisions, and what this bill would require is that those critical decisions are made more fairly and wisely. Furthermore, we also believe that the costs of not passing this bill far outweigh this committee's fiscal estimates, and those costs are borne by individual students and families when they're derailed from the college track. Those costs could be borne by school districts when they expose themselves to potential legal liability when they unfairly misplace students of color. And finally, there are costs to our employers when they don't have the workforce with the skills that they need that are critical for our economy, and particularly jobs in the STEM field. For these reasons, we urge your support to move this bill out of suspense. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Your name, organization, position.
Gina Dama, representing Bernardo Vidales, Superintendent of Jefferson Elementary School District, in support of the bill.
Thank you so much. Individuals from the public in support.
Erica Hoffman on behalf of the California School Boards Association, in support.
Thank you so much.
Bless Shepard, representing the Silicon Valley Leadership Group, Bayer Healthcare, and the California League of Community Foundations, in support.
Mr. Chair, members, Adrian Lopez on behalf of the University of California, in support.
Jeff Frost on behalf of the Orange County Superintendent of Schools, in support.
Mr. Chair and members, Angela Haywood on behalf of the NAACP, in support.
Mr. Chair and members, Lee Angela Reed on behalf of San Francisco Unified School District, in support.
Thank you.
Good morning, Erica Romero on behalf of the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities, in support.
Good morning, Adonai Mack with the Association of California School Administrators, also in support.
Thank you.
Michael Holsizer on behalf of the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, in support.
Thank you. Witnesses in opposition, individuals from the public in opposition, Department of Finance.
Based on the July 16th version, we do not have a position on this bill, but believe it would create a reimbursable state mandate, potentially costing in the millions of dollars, Prop 98 General Fund.
Thank you so much. Questions or comments from the committee members? Seeing none, this bill is on suspense and will be taken up in due course.
Thank you, sir.
Your next bill, SB 443.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for your patience. SB 443, a bill to protect California property owners from abuses in civil asset forfeiture and to ensure that law enforcement engaged in civil asset forfeiture are subject to existing California state law. This is a multi-pronged approach to a problem facing many California communities, requiring that in most cases a defendant be convicted of an underlying crime before cash or property can be permanently seized. It will require that more drug asset forfeiture cases be handled under state law rather than transferred to federal courts in order to ensure the stricter standards under California law are followed. Concern has been raised by various law enforcement agencies that the forfeiture proceeds distribution process laid out in this bill will cause California to be ineligible to partner with the federal government and will thereby exclude California from receiving any funds from federal agencies that might result from equitable sharing and joint task forces. I want to state on record that preventing California from full participation with the federal government is not my intention and will not be the result of this bill. My office has been in contact with the U.S. Treasury and U.S. Department of Justice to ensure that SB 443 will still allow for federal and local partnerships, albeit on a more limited basis, again, in accordance with California state law. We will work out any needed amendments with this committee to clarify in this regard. The opposition will further argue that 443 will reduce the amount of money flowing to local law enforcement, which is indeed a possibility. But I would counter their arguments by pointing out that under this bill, more cases would be kept in state, in which case the state would not need to split seizure proceeds with federal agencies. Further, I would argue that less staff time would need to be allocated on forfeiture cases involving the federal government, as I suspect many of those cases would not stand up against California's higher evidentiary standard and would need to be dropped as a result. So, SB 443 will make better, more efficient use of law enforcement staff's time. This bill's goals are simple: to reestablish the most basic tenet of constitutional law and values and ensures that California's state law is being adhered to. I have a witness here from the Drug Policy Alliance, from ACLU, to talk about their support of the bill.
Thank you, please.
Thank you, Micah Doctoroff on behalf of the ACLU of California, a proud co-sponsor of the bill and here in support. California reformed its asset forfeiture laws in the 1990s, which included improving due process and reducing the share of forfeited assets flowing to police coffers. However, some law enforcement agencies have found a way around California's safeguards and have opted instead to pursue forfeitures federally, where the protections contained in our state law do not apply and where police get to keep more of what they seize. It's important to note that asset forfeiture is not limited to the kingpin situation the law is often promoted to address. In recent years, half the forfeitures in state court were under $2,096 and less than $8,800 in federal court. SB 443 would reassert one of the basic constitutional principles reflected in California law, that a person be convicted of an underlying crime before his or her property could be permanently taken away. SB 443 would likewise encourage law enforcement to seek forfeiture of property under California law, where California's general fund would see some of the forfeited funds that currently go to the federal government as opposed to the state. There is no doubt that the work of law enforcement is difficult and vitally important, and as such, it deserves proper funding. However, seizing the private property of Californians who have not been convicted of a crime, as is happening under civil asset forfeiture, is no way to achieve this goal. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Other individuals from the public in support?
Glenn Backus for Drug Policy Alliance, and entering into the record, Institute of Justice, one of the co-sponsors of the bill. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Khalif Osagai on behalf of the California Public Defenders Association in strong support.
Thank you.
Dennis Garcia on behalf of the California Attorneys for Criminal Justice in strong support.
Thank you. Witnesses in opposition? Just one person to speak in opposition, please. And I hope that those are not all your talking points there. Please continue.
Good morning. My name is Lee Carter. I'm a Senior Deputy District Attorney for Santa Barbara County. I'm here to advise you of the significant financial consequences of SB 443. In 2014, law enforcement agencies in California received over $82 million through federal equitable sharing just from the U.S. Department of Justice. The Treasury Department in that same year distributed over $12 million to California agencies. These distributions were from all types of forfeitures, including drug asset forfeitures, human trafficking forfeitures, environmental violation forfeitures, major fraud forfeitures, and smuggling forfeitures. just to name a few. SB 443 would cause the termination of all federal equitable sharing to California, amounting to the state losing over $90 million in funding. The state of California law enforcement agencies, which includes the CHP, California Department of Justice, Fish and Wildlife, Medical Board of California, CDCR, California Department of Corrections, would lose a combined $1.8 million, which they received from federal equitable sharing in 2014. Civil forfeitures under state law totaled approximately $29,150,000 in 2014. The state of California received 24% of that, or around $7 million. State and local law enforcement last year received 65%, and 15% of that, approximately $2.8 million, went to drug and gang programs. SB 443 would establish significant hurdles to forfeitures under state law. It is estimated
30 seconds.
These hurdles would cause forfeitures to decline by a third to a half. The loss to local law enforcement would be $8 to $11 million. The commensurate loss to local programs would be $1.5 to $1.8 million, and the loss of funding directly to the state from the 24% share is estimated to be between $2.3 and $3.5 million. As you can see, SB 443 will cause a substantial loss of funds to the state and to state and local law enforcement agencies. The total loss will exceed $100 million. I would ask for your no vote.
Thank you so much. Just your name, organization, and position, please.
John Lovell, on behalf of the Association for LA Deputy Sheriffs, California Association of Code Enforcement Officers, California College and University Police Chiefs Association, California Narcotic Officers Association, California Police Chiefs Association, Los Angeles Police Protective League, and the Riverside Sheriffs Association, all in opposition because of this newfound information about fiscal consequence.
Thank you so much.
Sean Hoffman with the California District Attorneys Association. We are opposed, though not opposed, to the idea of prohibiting federal adoptions. But the way that the bill is drafted now, for the reasons stated by Mr. Carter, we are opposed.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Chair, members, Aaron McGuire on behalf of the California State Sheriffs Association, also in opposition.
Thank you.
Sean Rundle here in opposition on behalf of the California Peace Officers Association.
Ryan Sherman on behalf of Los Angeles County Professional Peace Officers Association, the Long Beach Police Officers Association, Sacramento County Deputy Sheriff's Association, and the California Fraternal Order of Police, all in opposition. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, Tony Rice on behalf of the Los Angeles County Police Chiefs Association, in opposition.
Thank you. Department of Finance.
No file.
Thank you so much. Questions or comments from the committee members? Thank you. Our analysis notes that this bill has significant cost, but we will take it up in due course when we take up the suspense file. Please continue to work with the staff to reduce the cost. Thank you so much.
We absolutely will. And if I could just say one sentence, sir, in closing, in response to law enforcement's numbers that they cited that would that their various agencies would be hit. It certainly is not our intent to inappropriately reduce cost to law enforcement. I would question, however, how many people that they were able to successfully convict whose assets were seized. I do not think it's appropriate that law enforcement gets to keep assets based on their interaction with a federal agency if the private California resident or citizen was not convicted of a crime. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Hancock, you're up. I'm going to be handing this off to you for a few minutes. It has 5 bills, 1 due pass, 2 suspense, and 2 consent. Your SB 725 is a due pass.
I would ask for your aye vote.
Witnesses in support, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members, Barrett Snyder of the San Francisco Unified School District, the San Diego and Santa Clara County Offices of Education and Support.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Chair, Jeff Frost, representing the California Association of Suburban School Districts and the Orange County Department of Education and Support.
Thank you so much.
Michelle McKay Underwood on behalf of the Oakland Unified School Districts and its 221 students that will be helped by this bill. We are in support and thank the author.
Thank you.
Of the Aaron Evans on behalf of the Sonoma County Office of Education and the Imperial County Office of Education in support. Thank you.
Ernie Silva on behalf of SciaTech, a network of dropout recovery high schools. We certainly support and appreciate this. Thank you.
Jeff Baca representing Riverside County Schools and also speaking on behalf of the San Diego Unified School District in support of the bill.
Leilani Aguinaldo-Yee on behalf of the Los Angeles Unified School District in support.
Karen Lang on behalf of Mayor Edwin Lee in the City and County of San Francisco. He wants to extend his thanks to the legislative leadership in both houses for making this happen so fast. We are a dry vote today. Thank you.
Leangela Reed on behalf of the Small School Districts Association in support.
Good morning, members. Derek Lennox on behalf of the Butte County and San Bernardino County Offices of Education in support. Thank you.
Nick Romley on behalf of the School Employers Association of California in support.
Alane Mack with the Association of California School Administrators, also in support.
Brendan Tuig on behalf of Ed Voice in support.
Patricia Rucker, California Teachers Association in support.
Ron Rapp on behalf of the California Federation of Teachers, speaking in support.
Erica Hoffman on behalf of the California School Boards Association in support.
Michelle Peralt on behalf of the California State University in support.
Tony Rice representing the Los Angeles Area Chamber of Commerce in support.
Rand Martin on behalf of the California Charter Schools Association Advocates in support.
Michael Holsizer on behalf of the Kern County Superintendent of Schools in support.
Very good. Is there any opposition? Anyone left to oppose? Department of Finance.
We're opposed to this bill. We're opposed to this bill because it's unnecessary and it circumvents the existing process for reviewing and recommending updates to the visual and performing arts content standards.
No. This bill has been amended to address the impacts of the cancellation of the California high school exit exam.
Okay. This was based on the July 7th version, so my apologies.
And it has been amended since then, so do you have no file?
My apologies, no file.
Thank you very much. Any questions from any members? Yes, Mr. Quirk.
Just so people know what the bill does, why don't you say it in a couple of sentences?
I'd be happy to do that. I had the impression the committee was in a hurry.
Yeah, but this is pretty basic.
As I just explained, SB 725 has been amended to address the impacts of the cancellation of the July test on the California exit exam. We have discovered that as many as 5,000 students are kind of stranded because although they've completed all the requirements for...
what does the bill do, though?
For a high school degree, they can't receive a diploma unless they pass a test that is no longer given. This bill simply states that for 1 year only, 2015, the high school exit exam will not be required as a condition of receiving a diploma for students who have successfully completed grade 12 and all other requirements for a high school degree. There is no fiscal or social purpose to be served in denying these young people, many of whom have been admitted to four-year colleges or universities or are looking forward to the military or job training, from moving forward with their lives.
Thank you.
And for further clarification, it does go on in Section 2 to clearly state that the Commission on State Mandates determines that the Act contains costs mandated by the state and reimbursement to local agencies and school districts for those costs shall be made pursuant to Part 7, commensurating with Section 17500 of the Division of Title 4, Section 4, Title 2 of the Government Code.
Yes.
So everybody's been made whole throughout this amendment. Applaud you and commend you for taking the action that you've done to help the school students throughout the state of California.
So do I. Thank you.
This is out on an A roll call.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt.
Thank you. I'm waiving presentation on the other.
And you're waiving on all the others. Thank you for the record. Mr. Hill, you're up next. You have a very long list of...
And I'm presenting on all of them. No, I'm kidding.
Of bills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So you have a total of 13 bills. You have a number on suspense.
Yes.
You have 4 on consent. 2 for direct action today.
Yes, I'll be presenting on SB 34 and SB 705, and understanding that as 361, 494, and 671 are in consent, and waiving presentation on all of the others.
Very good. Do you want to start with SB 34?
I will be doing that, Mr. Chair. Thank you. SB 34 establishes sensible standards for automatic license plate readers to protect civil liberties and privacy.
Move the bill.
I'll second the motion to keep the meeting moving forward, but that doesn't limit my action to vote.
Right.
Thank you. So,
oh, yes, it just establishes liberties and privacies while balancing law enforcement's ability to use the technology to catch criminals. I respectfully ask for an aye vote, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Any witnesses? Any witnesses in support from the audience? Any witnesses in opposition? Department of Finance?
We have a neutral position on this bill, no state fiscal impact.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the panel? Seeing none, this bill is out on a B roll call with Chang voting aye and Wagner voting aye.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members.
Mr. Hill, you have SB 705.
SB 705 is simply ensures community members have the ability to find out about the possible co-location of a charter school at an existing public school.
Thank you.
Move the bill.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Quirk's motion, Mr. Bigelow's second, for purposes of continuity to keep the things going here. Any witnesses in support? Any witnesses in opposition? Department of Finance?
We are opposed to this bill. It could result in an increased ongoing cost of Prop 98 General Fund by imposing a state reimbursable mandate by requiring school districts to post facilities requests or offers to its website anytime it intends to allocate facilities to a charter school.
Thank you very much. Are any questions from the members? Seeing no questions from members, this bill is out on a B roll call.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much,
Hill.
members. Appreciate it.
Mr. Hernandez, you too have been blessed with many bills. You have one bill that's up for action today, and the rest are on suspense at this time.
And I will
What's your pleasure?
We'll be waiving all the suspense and just be presenting SB 36.
Very good. Please begin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, this bill would require the Department of Health Care Services to submit an application to the Federal Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services for a waiver that continues the state's momentum and success in innovation achieved under the current bridge reform waiver. The state's current Section 1115 waiver expires October 31st of this year.
Move the bill.
This bill will, along with AB 72 bond, are the two vehicles to make the necessary legislative changes to implement the new waiver. With that, members, I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you very much. I see you have witnesses in support.
Yes, Mr. Chair and members, Terry Thomas on behalf of the California Association of Public Hospitals and Health Systems. This bill provides critical and core funding for our member hospitals to continue their missions of serving everyone regardless of ability to pay. We strongly urge your aye vote. Thank you.
Michelle Cabrera on behalf of SEIU California, in support.
Barbara Glazer on behalf of the California Hospital Association, in support.
Christina Romero, representing Planned Parenthood Affiliates of California, in support.
Catherine Austin-Scott on behalf of the District Hospital Leadership Forum, in support.
Thank you. Witnesses from the audience in support.
Fred Main on behalf of the California PACE Association, in support.
Anyone in opposition? Department of Finance?
No file.
Thank you very much. Are any questions from members? Seeing none. This action was, a motion was made by Mr. Quirk, seconded by Mr. Gallagher, and is out on an A roll call. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very much.
Who do we have? Mr. Hall, you have before us a number of bills. One for action today, one on suspense. What is your pleasure?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. SB 63, Seaport Enhanced Infrastructure Financing Districts. SB 63 adds seaports to the list of enhanced infrastructure financing districts approved projects and allows the port to have access to new and vital seaport infrastructure.
You have a motion and you have
financing.
a second.
And I respectfully ask for your aye vote, and we have witnesses here to testify in favor of the bill, and thank you.
Thank you very much, your witness.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members. Mike Jacob with the Pacific Merchant Shipping Association. And just to briefly speak to the fiscal condition of the bill, this was a suspense item in the Senate. We took amendments to make the cost of State Lands Commission and their role that's assigned to this reimbursable out of proceeds of underwriting. And the analysis really accurately reflects the new condition. So thank you.
Respectfully ask for aye vote.
Thank you very much. Are there any other witnesses in support?
Mr. Chair and members, Tim Schott on behalf of the California Association of Port Authorities, which is comprised of the 11 commercial publicly owned ports, also in support.
Thank you very much. Any witnesses in opposition? Seeing none, Department of Finance.
We have a neutral position on this bill, no fiscal impact.
Thank you very much. Comments or questions from members? Seeing none, it was moved by Mr. Quirk, seconded by Mr. Gallagher. You're out on an A roll call.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, members.
Are you waiving on your
yes, I
suspense file?
Yes.
Thank you for clarification.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Mr. Hueso.
Yes, sir.
You are here just in time. Mr. Hueso, you have one suspense bill and you have one action bill and one on consent that enjoys consent. Your pleasure.
Mr. Chair. SB 249.
249. You wish to present?
Yes,
Please
sir.
begin.
I simply am here to address the committee on 303 is on consent, and I think 249 at your pleasure if you wish for me to present.
287 is your action item for today. Would you like to begin on
you don't need me to on 249?
It's a suspense candidate. It's not necessary, but if you wish to.
No. That's.
Thank you. You're very courteous about that. I appreciate it.
Okay, so on 287, this bill is a bill that's modeled after an ordinance that was passed when I was a member of San Diego City Council. It's a bill that would require most newly constructed buildings with high occupancies after January of 2017 to have an automated external defibrillator, also known
Move
as an
the
AED.
bill.
You have a motion and you have a second.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Would you like to continue, or do you have a
I'll
witness in
simply
support?
ask for your support for this important
Do you have a
measure
witness
that will
in
help
support?
save lives.
Any witnesses in support? Any witnesses in opposition? Department of Finance.
We have a neutral position on this bill, which promotes the location of potentially life-saving medical technology in buildings used by the public. But we note a concern for the potential adverse impacts related to placing defibrillators in building types occupied by populations deemed a safety risk, such as prisons. No fiscal impact.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. Chair, if I could just respond, prisons in California already require to have them. There was a lawsuit that was lost that created a policy that prisons have AEDs in them, so this would have no impact with regards to prisons.
Thank you very much. Members, are there any questions of the author? Seeing none, I would just commend the author on moving these forward, being an EMT, somebody who knows the value of these tools. They're very, very much needed in places, and I hope more people have access.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So with that said, there was a motion by Mr. Quirk, Mr. Rodriguez, seconded. Garcia, I'm sorry, Mr. Garcia. You're out on an A roll call.
Thank you very much. Thank
you. Mr. Quirk, I believe you are going to present for Mr. De Leon. on SB 767.
Yes, that's correct. The bill deletes authority previously. This is very complicated, but the bottom line, it has negligible state fiscal impact.
We have a motion and we have a second on this bill. Would you like to continue on your presentation? Thank you very much. Do you have a witness in support of this?
Apparently I do.
Very good. You enjoy the floor, sir.
Mr. Chairman and members, Michael Turner on behalf of the Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority. This is our sponsored measure. I want to thank Senator De Leon and Senator Quirk for carrying this for us today. It's Bill's tremendous opportunity for us to make significant improvements in Los Angeles, and we want to thank you for helping to move this forward.
Thank you very much. Are there other witnesses in support of this bill? Ooh. Try it again.
Okay. Christopher Castillo on behalf of Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti and the City of Santa Monica, both in support.
Thank you very much. Is there any other support? If not, is there any opposition to this bill? Seeing none, Department of Finance.
We have a neutral position on this bill. A 0.5% transaction and use tax would generate approximately $800 million per year. If voters were to approve an ordinance imposing the tax, the County of Los Angeles would be required to reimburse the Board of Equalization for its ongoing cost to administer the ordinance.
Thank you very much. Is there any questions from any members? If not, there was a motion by Mr. Gomez, seconded by Mr. Garcia, and this is out on a B roll call with Chang not voting. Mr. Lara, you are here. You enjoy, as many do, many bills. You have two for presentation, SB 504 and SB 716. Do you waive on the other items, or do you wish to present on your suspense files?
Do I have a due pass recommendation on 504?
Due pass on 504 and a due pass on 716.
Okay. Thank you.
We're co-chairing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I didn't have that part of this.
We'll do 716 first, Mr. Chair and Vice Chair. Good morning. I am waiving presentation on SB 4, 320, 400, 524, and 673.
Spoken like a chair of appropriations.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to get back to my assembly meetings. I'll be presenting on SB 716 now. Chair members, SB 716 is a compassionate measure.
Move the bill. Second.
That protects elephants by prohibiting the use of bull hooks. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you very much. Do you have a witness in support?
Yes, I do.
Hi, good morning. Chairman Gomez, members of the committee. Jennifer Fearing on behalf of the Humane Society of the United States and the San Francisco SPCA. In strong support, we urge your aye vote today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other witnesses in support?
Good morning. Jeff Pierce with the Animal Legal Defense Fund in strong support.
Thank you.
Hi, Lindsay Morgan with In Defense of Animals in strong support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Piper Cressel, HSUS, strong support.
Thank you.
Ellie Bush, Vacaville veterinarian, member of the AVMA and the CVMA, in strong support.
Karen Lang on behalf of the California State Humane Association, in strong support, representing 150 California-based shelters. Thank you.
Elizabeth Byrne with Sierra Club California in support. Thank you.
Alex Gibbs from Townsend Public Affairs on behalf of the City of Oakland, as well as the East Bay Zoological Society, in strong support. Thank you
very much. Is there anyone in opposition?
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Louis Brown on behalf of the Western Affairs Association. We are opposed to the bill primarily on policy reasons. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Is there anyone else in opposition? If not, the Department of Finance.
We do not have a position on this bill. No fiscal impact to the state.
Thank you very much. Members, any questions of the author?
Just by the number of emails, I thought I was going to have 1,000 people here. So please, no more emails. Can you kind of...
Mr. Chair, I would never
call off the elephants. Thank you.
With no, are there questions from members, Mr. Quirk?
Yeah, it's not appropriate to jam up someone's email box. I've gotten over 300 emails. Do call them off, please. It doesn't help. Thank you.
Make sure they have plenty of water for elephants, and we'll make sure that so they're hydrated.
Mr. Lara, you enjoy your bill is out on an A roll call.
Thank
Would you
you.
like to go on to 504?
Yes, Mr. Chair and Vice Chair, SB 504 will increase the accessibility of record sealing for adjudicated youth by removing the fee associated with expungement. It's an important justice bill for our youth and allowing them to get on with their lives and be productive members of society. I respectfully ask for aye votes.
You have a motion from Mr. Quirk, a second from Mr. Gomez. Any witnesses in support? We have one running.
Nicole Wertelman on behalf of the Alameda County Board of Supervisors in support.
Thank you. We have one more. Apparently not. Any witnesses in opposition? Department of Finance?
We are opposed to this bill because it could result in a loss of revenue to the trial courts and local governments, as it limits the amount that can be recovered by these entities, and potentially creates a reimbursable state mandate by requiring these entities to seal records without recovering costs.
Thank you very much. Questions of the author from members? Seeing none. You're out on a B roll call with Chang not voting.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And Daly not voting.
Thank you. All other bills are moved to suspense.
Anybody need to add on or anything?
Nope.
We're good.
All right. We are adjourned.